A fall brown bear hunt is probably one of the most commonly requested, and honestly, it's probably one of the better all-around brown bear hunting experiences. You know, going to Alaska in the fall is not a hunt that you have to be in great physical shape for, but you always want to be able to at least hike and go. You know, we've had guys in their 70s and 80s kill bears down around the edges of the lakes and on the salmon streams because you don't have to climb the mountains. But sometimes you get out there and the bears aren't on the fish. They're up on the hillsides, they're feeding on berries, and you know, that might be where they're spending the mornings and afternoons, and then in the evenings they move down and go to the fish. You know, bears, especially the big boars, tend to be nocturnal, and they make their way toward the water the closer it is to dark. And sometimes you see these giant bears way up on the hillsides, and that might be the only time you get them in the open. So you always want to be in good enough shape to go hike through the blueberries and cover the hills. But you know, if you're not, you just know that we typically will find some bears down on the water. Like I said, around the edge of the lake, you know, picking up spawned out salmon, or up the streams in the spawning beds of the rivers. You know, we can set up and ambush bears in those locations, and it's a lot of fun to hunt them there. You know, we typically do these hunts in western Alaska. You know, this is out there where the big fish runs from Bristol Bay are surging up these rivers and streams, and millions of fish are in these small streams and lakes and ponds. And the bears will come from miles around and congregate in fairly good densities in certain valleys where there's a lot of fish, especially if there's a lot of berries on the hillsides and fish in the streams. You know, these brown bear hunts are actually pretty boring. You know, we've always said they're 99% boredom and 1% sheer terror and excitement, and that's because of the style of hunting. You know, you typically will get up high on the hilltops and just start glassing. You're sitting somewhere where you can see miles of blueberries and a couple of miles of stream or a couple of miles of lakeshore, and maybe all of the above. But from this vantage point, you know, 500, 600, 700 feet up sometimes, you're able to see a lot of country, and that is your advantage. That is where you're going to be able to see the most country and see the most bear activity. And then once you find a big bear, you can either pattern it over the course of a couple of days and make a move on it, or if that bear screws up, you can make an immediate stalk on them. That one gorgeous Grizzly. Over the years, we've killed a lot of great bears in the fall, some very memorable hunts, and a lot of our clients have reached out after their hunts and thanked us for these wonderful experiences, because we have some tremendous guides that work for us out there. They do a great job. And if you'd like to book a fall brown bear hunt out in western Alaska for yourself, give our office a call. We'll take your calls, we'll answer your questions, and we will help you book the adventure of a lifetime. This is what it's all about right here.
Look at the claws on this thing. I got to tell you guys, I recommend it highly. Steve does a great job. It's very personal.